Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the webinar on how to marry the message with the visual. This is part of our 6-part series on marketing aging care services. And if you haven't seen all of the other portions of this series and are interested in seeing them, you can view the past webinars on CoreCubed.com and on the About Us page, and then on that About Us page down to Events. My name is Marissa Snook, and I am going to be introducing today. Marilee Orsini is our featured speaker. You might notice that everyone's on mute mode. That's just to keep anyone who might be joining us late from interrupting. But if you have questions, please feel free to type them in that chat box you see on the far right of your screen. And we'll be answering questions at the end of the presentation. If we do happen to miss any presentations, we'll be emailing you or contacting you afterwards. To get back to our featured speaker, Marilee Orsini, she truly is an expert business marketing strategist with a real niche in aging care services. She is the founder and owner and president, CEO of CoreCubed, and she has been in the trenches of aging care services for many, many years. She owned a home care business and ran that successfully for many years before selling that and starting marketing campaigns, planning for agencies across the country. And without further ado, Marilee, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Marissa. That's Marissa Snook. She's our most program manager and always very helpful. She works with our clients that have aging care services, primarily home care, on a daily basis. So thank you, everyone, for attending today. As Marissa said, this is the 3rd part of a 6-part series, and I'm just going to recap number 1 and number 2 quickly for you, so we get in our minds what we're trying to do here with marketing. The first in the series was really talking about the target, and I'll recap in a minute why that is so important. But we have 2 different targets, really, when we're trying to reach aging care services. One is the frail elderly, and the other would be the active elderly. And depending on what services or products you're selling into those markets, whether they're active or frail is going to make a difference. We do talk about, when we're marketing aging care services, the fact that age 65 is such an artificial age in terms of someone becoming old or elderly. There certainly are people who are 65 who are very active and very engaged and still working, and they would have more in common with a younger person who's active and engaged than someone who's 65 and frail. So you have to first get your arms and head around that. But so who makes the decisions for care for the frail elderly? Well, it is normally the oldest daughter or the daughter who assumes the caregiving role if there are multiple daughters. And so you're looking at, really, if it's a 65-year-old who needs care, you're looking at a 45-year-old or 95-year-old. It might be the 75-year-old daughter, or it could be the granddaughter if it's a 95-year-old, because sometimes the 95-year-old might outlive their children. It can also be trusted advisors, so people who are interfacing with the elderly person who've noticed that they need care. So it can be a range of trusted advisors or neighbors or friends. So the point here is that when you're targeting a frail elderly clientele, you most likely are not going to be targeting that person, because that person likely will not be the one who's doing the research, and they may be the final decision maker in terms of, can I have, can someone come into my home or not, or do I want to buy that device or not? But it's generally the adult children. And so are these people local or long distance, these adult children? Well, a whole lot of them are long distance. So simply our society is a mobile society, and oftentimes children are living at a distance from their parents. contrary to the frail elderly, the active elderly are actually making their own decisions, and oftentimes it's the active elderly person and their partner, or perhaps a group that the active belongs to. So it really is, you're targeting, if it's an active elderly product or service, you are literally targeting the person like you would any other product or service. So how do these people get information? Well, more and more now they are going to the internet, and they're using the internet, and they're using social media, and they are also using mobile devices. So our second in this series was really talking about how to reach more people for less money. And I'm going to just recap the basic marketing strategy here, because how to reach more people with less money, you really have to understand the marketing strategy first. And understanding that strategy is primary, knowing your target. So who is the target? Again, depending on what you're selling, you really need to know who the target is. And then knowing the message. Now, that's a harder thing to do, is to figure out what message resonates with the person. But if you've got your target correctly, then you can work on messaging and see what works best, and there's a variety of ways to do that. And today, what we're going to talk about is marrying that message with the visual. So we'll show some examples in terms of how to understand what I mean by marrying the message with the visual. And then the last in marketing strategy is making certain that you are finding a way to get that message that's married with the visual that is clearly in front of decision makers. So that would mean, are you going to do radio ads, TV ads, use the internet, put up billboards? So that's finding a way to reach the decision makers. So basically, understanding the target is crucial. And oftentimes I will see people totally missing the target when they are trying to sell something. So you really need to make certain that you understand that first. And that message has to resonate. It has to be exciting. It has to be enticing, has to speak to someone so that they clearly are understanding what it is and it is resonating with them. And then the visual has got to support the message. So the visual helps you push that person to taking some action. So if the message and the visual are in conflict with each other, it's not going to be as strong or as powerful as if they are coherent and are moving that target towards the same action. And then finding a way to reach the decision makers again. That's the channel. And you know, there's a million pathways people can take to go to market with products or services. And it's basically honing down on what works and what channel works best to deliver that, assuming you've got the message, the visual, and your target correctly. Then that's another biggie, is how to actually reach them. Now, we feel that people online are really a primary target here, because you have a lot of long-distance caregivers and you have internet usage that is increasing rapidly, and people are searching for information on the internet. So you might not get 100%, but you're going to have a huge amount of activity if this is done correctly. And then we also talked last session about using just an hour a week for best results. And whether or not you're using an hour a week or 10 hours a week or have a full-time person or have outsourced your marketing, you need to start with a plan. And that plan will help you use the same information in many, many ways. I won't get into content marketing. We're going to talk about visuals today, but starting with the plan is really a necessity. And then identifying your targets, we've talked about that, and you really want to go with who it is that you have the best chance of success reaching. And then simple messages, continue to try some, see what works best. Look at your competition, see what the competition is doing. So it's really trying to come up with things that do work. And then A, you have to have good branding, and B, that branding has to be consistent. And finally, I always talk about measuring for results. If it works, do more of it. If it doesn't work, quit doing it. So this is really pretty simple stuff, but I find that most people do not do that. So what are today's objectives? we are going to, hopefully, at the end of this workshop, you will understand the increased importance of the visual in today's marketing. And then you will learn to look for clues that the visual is married to the message, and then hopefully you can then go back and do some self-examination and figure out what's the best visual for your business that resonates with the message. Now, I pulled images from the internet for this presentation today. I've tried to wipe out any indication of what business this is from, but I was really looking for some good examples and some bad examples. So I'm going to say up front, I hope I don't offend anyone if I have pulled one of your visuals, but think of it as a learning experience, and maybe your visual will be one of the good ones that I've pulled. I pulled some images from Facebook first, and I thought this was particularly interesting because of the play on words. Support your local pharmacy. Facebook is the place, and all social media actually, where visuals are becoming more and more important. And if it is almost a necessity that there is a visual accompanying a post on Facebook in order to have people pay attention to it. And that is pretty much true on using the internet in general, because a lot of text on the internet is not going to be user-friendly to people, but use of good visuals is going to attract people and make them go further. So I just thought this was a great example of using a play on words, but then marrying that with the visual. This is from, and again, the good ones, some of these I did not try to hide. This is Lots of Helping Hands. It's a software that basically helps families, for the most part, schedule in time for neighbors who have agreed to help if you have a caregiving issue within your family. But this is really multiple images. This was their Facebook cover picture, and that's one of the things that we find is just crucial, is to have your Facebook cover image be something that is enticing to people when they go to your Facebook page. It's an extension of your brand, and I thought this really was a very good visual, and also the message is good. Make a promise to help a caregiver today. Join the Year of Helping Hands. And then all of the hands all done, multiple races, age groups, all just simple photos, but really delivering a message that you have a community of people that are helping each other. This one from the International Council on Active Aging. I mean, what they're striving for is trying to get people involved in activity with aging, and I thought this was a particularly good visual. I mean, these people look very happy. They're obviously active. They're doing something, and it's an image that if you were an older person and you were interested in remaining active, then this might actually entice you to go further and to get into their website and find out more about that organization. This is American Society on Aging, and although, again, their target, even though it's American Society on Aging, their target is not really old people. They're trying to get people to come to the conference. They've redone their Facebook cover photo, so that they are focusing on the conference, which is coming up next week. And by the way, I am speaking there, and excited about going, excited about what is happening in aging in America. But if I were not going to the conference already and I had seen this Facebook, this would have enticed me, because you've got this showcases a variety of younger people, but actually interested, enthralled, almost captivated, I could say, in terms of what's going on, and the verbiage with the conference. It really does very well marry that visual with the message. This is a Facebook page from a local community nonprofit organization, ElderServe, and I do happen to sit on the board of ElderServe, but I absolutely love this image. You can see by the name that they do service older people. They've got their cover picture in their 50 years of service, so not only do you get the idea that how long they've been there, they're a stable organization, but you've got a person who looks like she might work for ElderServe, and then another person that's either being serviced or perhaps is a companion to someone. But just a very warm and friendly photo, and it does, just in that picture, give you an idea of the organization how long it's been in existence, and would entice you to find out more information about it. This visual could stand alone. Here's a person that's obviously lost weight. So the message, lose the weight, gain so much more, marries perfectly with this visual because she's happy, she's lost weight, you can see where she came from before. It's a very pleasant picture, and it would entice you, the person who's interested in losing weight, certainly would entice that person to check out more information. And here's a couple more very good examples that work. And here you have dedicated to better senior nutrition. So again, I think this was a home care website, but it really was enticing to me because this was a rotating banner. I've got a couple of these that work and a couple that don't work. I'll show in a minute, but a rotating banner. So if I'm searching for care for my elderly parent, my frail elderly parent, I want them to be healthy, I want them to be happy, I want them to be well cared for, and here I see a caregiver out shopping with a client and obviously picking fresh vegetables. So that's a very powerful image to me that supports the idea that they're not only dedicated to better senior nutrition, they're acting on it because they're going to bring those fresh vegetables into the home to care and prepare those for my loved one. Next we have helping keep seniors independent. Now this is the caregiver and the older person are images that are used a lot. But this is such a good image. I'll show one in a minute that didn't work so well for me. But this is a great image in my opinion because you can clearly see who's the older person and who's the caregiver, and that caregiver truly looks like she loves her job. So again, it's going to make me feel comfortable thinking I might get this caregiver for my parent, and would entice me to go further into the site. I have several of these images that I thought were fabulous. I like the way that they didn't stay in the box. This person pops out of the box, and this is from a website, but I'm enjoying my life again. Now that to me, you can see she's enjoying her life again. And if I'm looking for home care and I see this, I'm thinking, goodness, here's my loved one who doesn't feel good and has a frown and is unhappy and scowling, and wouldn't I like to have my loved one enjoying life again? So again, the message is so good, and the visual supports that 100%. Here's another one, obviously from the same home care business, but again, all of these pictures have exceeded the boxes, so they're outside of the box. They almost are jumping out at you, letting you know these are real people. These are not canned photos. And they've even got their names, which I think is incredibly impressive because most people use, Tammy A. or, Harriet S. But they've included the person's name. She's obviously got some kind of an illness, but she's learned so much about her disease. But they don't have to say that learning so much about her disease helped her get better, because you can look and see in her face. This is a person who is coping with whatever the disease is and has been helped by the service. I also love this one. What a face. My nurse Jenny is an angel. Here's this man, and you can just see he's got hearing aids in. He's got lines of life on his face. He's obviously pretty old, and he looks like he's frail, and he's in love with his nurse because she's being, he calls her an angel. She's just been so good to him that he's really, really responding. So again, this was a series of 3 or 4 of these visuals that came up on the homepage of the website, and just really made me feel like I would call that agency. I would seek care there because of the visual and the message married so well together. And here's another. I don't know what I would do without Barbara. It's a real man. He's got his name tag on, and he's sitting out on the porch, and does he look happy or what? And why is he happy? He's happy because somebody's helping him get the care he needs, or help him age in place, or help him be wherever he is. Perhaps he's even in a facility, but he's really happy with the care. So just great messages and visuals. Here we move into active elderly, but this was, I'm pretty certain, a retirement community, and the providing quality of life. Now, this is important because quality of life is something that everyone wants to have. It doesn't matter how long you live. If you're living and you don't have good quality of life, you might not really want to be in the situation you're in. But the quality of life. Now, I don't know that there's an ocean in the background here. This might just be out on the front lawn, but sitting in those reclining sort of deck chairs and with their just, with the sunshine on their faces, they're sort of looking into the sunset, and they certainly do look happy. And you would say, if you saw these people, they are having good quality of life. So if that's what you're looking for, this visual and the message would marry very well together, and they would attract you. Here's another one, exceptional care for your loved one. Well, you can see there's exceptional care here. You've got a clear caregiver differentiation from the older person. You see the affection, and you see just by the way that she's looking. She's got on lipstick, her hair is combed, she's happy. That is exceptional care. So again, just a wonderful, wonderful visual and message together. The same here, helping you live with dignity. Now, this is you meaning the person who's getting the care. So in most situations, I would say that's not so good. But in this situation, because you're looking at the old hands and the young hands, and there's obviously a strength and an affection there and a helpfulness going on, that even though it's targeted to the second person helping you live with dignity, if I'm an adult child, I'm going to see this, and this is going to speak to me, because I am seeing just through the simple clasp of hands, I am seeing that there is some care and some love being extended. This was a residential facility also for seniors, and you'll see some of the images I think are particularly useful and particularly helpful and particularly poignant are the ones that marry nature or with people. So they didn't focus on just the facility. They focused on happy people, and they focused on visuals, a restful bench, snow, just the combination of these together, and the people in their winter outfits, you just get the impression if I went to this facility, I would be able to have activities outside, and I would certainly have a better life from having been here. And the visuals also, they're good pictures and beautiful, so it really gives you a nice peaceful feeling when you're looking at them. And this one as well. Happy caregiver and a happy client. So I believe this again was a residential facility. But here they are out for a walk. So whether it's the daughter or whether it's a caregiver, you get the impression that there's activity going on, and they're happy, and life simply is as best as it can be for this point in time. And the same here. You've got happy people. Now they've got the pictures of the facility sort of below, but they're sort of sublimated, but the focus is on the people, and then you've got the pictures of the facility underneath. And I love this message: experience life in full bloom, because you've got the possibility to experience life in full bloom. And here you are in a residential facility. Most people don't think about that, but that message with including the people at the top to show the full bloom, and then the facility underneath is a great way to show both. Here's some more photos just of caregivers and clients, and the reason I show these is sometimes it's pretty hard to determine when you see two people which one's the caregiver, which is the client. And I think if you're trying to sell services where someone's being assisted by someone else, it's nice to see both. I will have to say, though, this bottom photo is one, we see this a lot. This photo has become overused, and and it is something, although it's a great photo, at this point I would say you probably, if you're doing an internet search, you're going to come up with probably 20 to 30% of the times you're going to see that particular photo at the bottom. So although it's good, if you've got someone who's really doing some research, it's not going to be good for you. So back to really, what are you selling and what should the visual convey? Because most people think they're selling home care services, or they're selling a facility, or they're selling a product. But what you're really selling to the adult child is peace of mind. Whether you're selling home care services for their frail parent, and again, to the adult child, if there's a frail elderly person we're talking about, it's really peace of mind. If you're selling directly to that frail aging person, they're looking for safety. They're looking for security. Perhaps they're looking for independence, but they also are looking for someone to provide really good care. But the bottom line is they want to be safe in their home, and they want to be secure. They want to know that someone who's honest, dependable, caring, mature is there with them. Or if they're purchasing a product, they want to make certain that that product will help them keep safe and help them be secure. If you're marketing to the referral source, then they want to know that it's trusted care or a trusted product, because if they're making a referral, they want to make certain that they're making a good referral so that you will get what you want out of the product or service. So they're looking for a service that can be trusted, or a product that can be trusted. And if you're selling into the active aging person, the active adult, if they're going to look for another place to live, to leave their home, if they're looking for products or services, they're really looking for a better way of life, a better quality of life, something that's going to enhance whatever their current lifestyle is. So thinking about what you are selling, not just your product or service, but what the visual needs to convey. That's what we're looking for. And in all those pictures I showed you, you should have gotten peace of mind, you should have felt safety and security, you should have felt trusted care, and you should have felt that they were offering some type of a better quality of life for those people. Now let's start looking at some things that don't work so well. I'm pretty certain this image was related to home care, and this to me doesn't designate home care. Yes, you've got a house, but you got the doctor stethoscope on the house, so to me it's like caring for the home, and maybe it's medical care at home, but again, that image did not work so well for me. These are borderline. The pediatric services, yes, we've got a young boy there, but the fact that they've got behavioral health, disabilities assistance, and therapy services, that child just did not, to me, marry with that message. And then here, the Discover Home Health Services, non-medical companion skill care, respite care. I don't know who these two people are. They don't look like they're really old enough. He might look a little older than she does, but they look like they're family. It looks like a husband and wife, basically. And I'm not really certain in that scenario who those people are, and are they providing the services? Are they getting the services? So to me, these two are sort of borderline. This one definitely was not non-medical. Now, this is not a bad photo. You've got a medical person and an older person. That's actually, any of you who have done in-home assessments know that's a pretty good scenario, except for the fact that she has a stethoscope in. So here's the message: companion care services. What does that mean? It means non-medical. Talking about daily activity, reminder services, meal preparation. You do not need a nurse to do that, or a doctor, and that's clearly what you have here. They're doing some type of a medical intervention here, a medical discussion. So to me, that clearly did not work with that. Here's another one. In the event of a heart problem, think fast. Well, I think the message is okay. In the event of a heart problem, think fast, although I don't know what they want me to think, because I don't know why these people are here. They look like doctors or medical personnel, so but to me, that it's lost somehow. The visual and the message simply don't go together. Here's a couple of examples from recently I showed 2 that did work in this series. Here's a couple that I think do not work. Technology can help you safe and secure. And here you have this black box. Well, I got the fact that this is a black box, but that doesn't mean anything to me. So I understand it's technology, but it isn't helping. It is not extending that message. And here's another one. For your senior care needs, help is here. I don't know who these people are. Which one's the caregiver? Which one's the client? They both look to me like maybe they're playing bridge or they're in some situation where they're friends. I do not get the idea that one of them is helping the other one. And here's a missed opportunity for a visual. This is a website. I'm going to go into a few websites, and this is a great service, Elder Care Locator, but these visuals don't really do anything for this. So again, you've got a missed opportunity for a visual here. So they're either no visual or something that makes sense because again, if someone comes to this website, maybe they're just coming to get the 800 number, or maybe they're coming to find out a little bit about home health care, but again, that visual doesn't do anything for the message. This was in a retirement community visual that I think did not work. Now go back to the visuals that I said did work, where you have people that look like they're happy and they're enjoying themselves, and then the facility was, sort of subliminal. This was the whole masthead of the website for this retirement community. And yes, you're seeing it's nice, but you don't see any people there, and it could be a hotel. I mean, it just doesn't give me a warm feeling. It gives me a cold visual. And this is one, the durable medical equipment business, and this was their masthead. I can't remember if it was on Facebook or on their website, but you get some idea that it's mobility, sports medicine, bathroom safety, respiratory. You can see that, but it is so crammed full of product that it just doesn't. It is not a good visual. It's so busy. And the other thing is, from a visual and a message standpoint, mobility and sports medicine don't really go together. So they've messed up their targets. If their target was older people, then they should have something that's more geared to that. And if their target is younger people who need sports assistance, then their target is there. So again, I just don't think that works together. So let's also just talk a little bit about quality and attention to detail, because a visual can definitely define quality. I mean, think about branding and think about when you see ads for high quality products. Think about Mercedes or Piaget or quality products or Four Seasons hotels. I mean, known expensive quality products, Nordstrom's. All of those images are more exclusive, and they're finer images, so they're defining quality. Now, there's other ways to define quality, but it's usually more in simplicity or in good visuals. And by good visual, I mean something that is visually pleasing, not just a picture of something. And can a visual define attention to detail? Yes. If a visual is sort of a classic photo, I mean, think about the visual I showed that had the snow on the branches and the snow in the park bench. And very beautiful photos accompanying the smiling couple in the center, but that would define attention to detail. That business cared enough to actually think about those photos that they were putting up. And can a visual make a visitor feel comfortable and encourage a call to the business? And by the visitor, I mean visitor to the website or to the Facebook page. Yes. And I'll show you some examples here so you can get an idea of when someone first interacts with your company, if you've really taken the time to make the visual define quality and define attention to detail and make someone feel comfortable and invited in, then that will encourage calls to the business. This is the example of what would not encourage calls calls to the business. This is literally the home page of a home care business. And the visual is awful. It looks like a very old photo, and these people do not look happy. The body language is not even happy. So this is really someone who is doing internet research and comes on this website is not going to stay there. They are going to move somewhere else. They're not going to call and make an inquiry. This is a home page of one of our clients who actually the other day told me that he is now getting 24% of his clients from his website. Now, this doesn't even have any old people on it, but what it does have, it lets you know it's private family-owned care. It gives you a picture of the owners, and they're obviously somewhere where they're outdoors in a beautiful setting, and you have the peaceful water behind. So what this visual says is these are interesting people, these are caring people. They've even got their dog in the photo. This is the locale where they do their business. It's private family-owned care, and so this really does, from a website perspective, attract people to continue into the website and to make a call. And we have not anecdotal but actually verified responses from users that come onto this website that actually do call for service. Here's another visual. I mean, you've got a caregiver helping an older person going into the home, and you've got some, actually the one-on-one care, which is the name of the business. You've got that reinforced with client-centered care, and quality care makes all the difference. But even if it didn't say client-centered care and quality care makes all the difference, just from looking at this picture and seeing how this website is designed, they've taken a good, they've taken their design and they've branded it, and this really does showcase attention to detail, quality of care, and from a website perspective would invite someone in. Here's another one. You clearly a caregiver and an older person, and nurse partners, the name of the business. Also, that is extended into what you're looking at in the visual. So again, it's attention to detail, it's quality, it's good and clean, and it really is an enticing, inviting homepage to have someone come visit further. Now this one's a little different, but this is because there's no people in this. This is really geographic, but it really does draw people into the site because it's got the geography pretty clear there. You've got the St. Louis Arches, and it's got an interesting, the looking for peace of mind, just a very interesting visual that is different than you would see in all the other home care websites. And then you've got celebrating 10 years, which lets you know this is a company that's been in business for a long time, and this is a company in St. Louis, and then you're going to draw further in just because it's exciting and interesting to you. Well, we're going to take questions in just a minute, but first I would like to give you some next steps. What you really need to do is look at your messaging that you're using on your collateral and on your website and on your Facebook page or any other social media, and make certain that your messaging is actually targeting the audience that it's intended to target. And then you can make certain that it's effective next, not just a laundry list of services. Think of features and benefits. Are you just listing your services, or are you talking about the benefit? Again, a feature would be companion care, 24-hour care, and a benefit would be peace of mind, independence, security, safety. So think about making certain that you are discussing or at least showcasing the benefits visually and verbally. And do you have a call to action? Call us for an assessment. Get a free assessment. Ask for information. Find a resource. I mean, have a call to action that you want people to take. And then make certain your visuals are matching those messages. Are your visuals targeting your market? Do they designate quality, or are they jumbled together, or inappropriate, non-professional photos? I mean, one of the things that I also think is so important when you're selling services to seniors, particularly on the internet, is to have pictures of the people who started the business, who run the business, who work for the business, people that are going to be interfacing with the client. And so many websites that target seniors don't do that, but people want to know who they're doing business with. So that is a visual, and those should be professional photos too, not something that has a bad background or is blurry. So designating quality or high volume, low price, those are things you can clearly do with visuals. And then prioritize what needs to be changed, what needs to be added, what needs to be deleted, and actually make a list for that. And then determine to make the fixes that you need, who needs to be involved in this. Are you going to outsource that to a professional, or are you going to do some of the work in-house? So those would be the next steps in terms of marrying the visual with the message. We have 3 more webinars in this Targeting Aging Care Services series, and you can access these if you would like to sign up for them on our Core Cubed website. And we are going to now take some questions. So, Marissa, do we have any questions from our audience?
Let's see. I unfortunately am unable to see questions, Marilee.
Okay,
but
well,
I'm
here.
happy to answer them if you can read them out for me, if there's any I can help answer.
This has to do, actually the only one that I have that is relevant is asking about the webinars. We do record these and we do post them on our Core Cubed website on our events section, so you can actually go back and review all of the first 2 webinars plus this one. And we have someone that lost their audio. I'm certainly hoping that our audio didn't get lost for other people. I was never made aware of that. So, well, I must have certainly covered everything very well, because we do not have any more questions. Most of our questions that were submitted ahead of time had to do with marketing, people wanting to learn how to market into this target better. So hopefully this series will answer those questions, and I encourage you to go to our Core Cubed website, to the About Us page, and look for events, and you can look at all of the webinars we've had in series. We've done webinars every month for several years now, and we've recorded all of them. And we hope you will join us in our next webinar. And thank you so much, everyone, for your time and your attention today. Please have a great day. Marissa, thank you, too.
Thanks, Marilee.